Welcome to Foodytime. I'm Jay Fettigan, and in this episode, I talk with my great friend Jonathan Alsop about the shift from summer into autumn and how the seasons affect what he likes to drink and what he likes to eat. And he makes some great recommendations, and we tell some fun stories. So enjoy. Well, John, thanks a lot for talking about autumn and fall wines and the end of summer and kind of where we go from here. I think that it's a really interesting time, a transitional time for both wine and food. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, as you say, it is a great transitional time, and this is one of the things. Living in the Northeast, one of the things that's great is having 4 seasons. So that you have this opportunity to make this transit from big, gutsy winter wines into lighter spring wines, and then zippy, fruity, citrusy summer wines.
Yeah.
And then back to fall, and then back to winter, and you get to do the whole thing. All over again. That's one of the joys of 4 seasons.
4 seasons of wines.
Exactly.
What happens? Both food, wine, cheese, any the drinks. How do your tastes evolve or change at this time of year?
Well, the feeling that I have is just as I'm like reaching my limit of Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Grigio and Viognier and raspberry lime Ricky. Just as I have had enough of those.
Yep.
The weather shifts. The harvest comes in, the food changes to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Much more red wine.
Mm-hmm.
Much more red wine during the fall and winter. I also find myself going for more earthy, more funky, more subterranean wines. Like
you make it sound so appealing.
I'm sorry. Well, you're welcome.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, instead of fruity wines, wines that are more, let me see if I can rephrase this. Instead of fruitier wines, wines that are more expressing the earth, the place, right? The place that they come from. Nebbiolo from Piedmont in northwestern Italy, a real stony, rugged, rustic
right. And big
wine.
It's further, that also can be quite big. It's not, not a subtle wine.
Yeah, no, not at all. And then also from Spain, there's a part of Spain called the Ribera del Duero. And the Tempranillo from there is just really, again, rugged, rustic. You can really taste the wood. You can taste the,
right.
You can taste the bark. You can taste the bark of the grapevine, in addition to the fruit. So
is it fall, winter, or is it like fall and then there's another shift as you get into winter?
I would say it's more like fall, winter. As around here, I mean, in Boston, we haven't had any appreciable snowfall for going on 2.5, 3 years now.
Yes.
So even the whole distinction between, fall and then icy, snowy, Scandinavian-like winter, that seems to have really moderated just even in the course of my lifetime. So I think the whole fall, winter, it's really sort of all blending together. Just the cooler time of the year.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in terms of food, more red wine, more red food, more meat. Now, we've talked about this. We've talked about this before.
Yes.
I had COVID a couple of years ago, and I don't know what's happened, but my whole appetite for red meat has just shifted fundamentally. I feel like I'm eating probably 1%. 2% as much beef, lamb, as I was eating before COVID. I've I've always been a big carnivore fan.
Absolutely.
But boy, that just utterly shifted in the aftermath of COVID, and I miss it.
Mm-hmm.
I miss it emotionally, even though I'm not craving it in terms of food anymore.
Right.
But I always think that this time of year, like the last couple of years, I've been thinking, okay, this is going to come back now. Right? This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to have some kind of killer, like beef bourguignon, or someone's going to slap me upside the head with a tomahawk steak or something, and I'm going to be back. Right? So I hope that happens. I'm looking forward to that.
But chicken is a great. For me, it's we went on that great press trip to the Rhone in the fall many years ago.
Right.
And we ate a lot of chicken. It went great with those Rhone wines and.
Oh yeah.
So I always think, that is my mental go-to when it comes to fall.
And chicken is so flexible.
Yes.
Chefs talk about it being like a canvas. Whatever you do to it.
Right.
If you cook it up with mango chutney, you've got like a killer chicken that's leaning in that direction. But if you stuff it under the skin with bacon and rosemary and all kinds of madness like that, you've got exactly the same meat, but it's leaning in a completely different direction, a totally different experience.
But I just still remember the food. I think there's very little beef or steak on that trip.
Yeah.
It was
it
was mostly
it's been 30 years, so I don't remember.
Yes,
I don't remember
all the meals. I've never had a great meal in my life that I've forgotten.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's a terrible, I don't know if it's a curse or a...
Speaking of chicken, we talked about this in a couple of other episodes. In the spring, I was in Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a part of the world where, like if you're a vegetarian and you say, "Hey, I'm a vegetarian. What have you got for me?" They'll say, "I don't know, chicken."
Well, that's like our vice presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. Did you hear this story? He's at the fair with his daughter and ordering some food, and he's like some burgers all around. And she said, "Well, Dad, I'm a vegetarian." He said, "Okay, turkey."
Come on, we got to be flexible.
So, and cocktails. You're big into cocktails.
Yes.
How does your cocktail? How's your flavor or the taste profile of cocktails? The summer drinks are not.
Yeah.
Don't really cut it.
No more Moscow mules. No more vodka tonic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No more dark and stormy.
Mm-hmm.
No more of these stereotypic, archetypical summertime cocktails.
Yeah.
I'll just speak for myself. I'm just not craving, a big glass of ice with vodka and tonic and lime.
Yeah.
And an umbrella. I'm just not feeling that in November.
Right. For me, it's bourbon and scotch. But I'm not a big cocktail drinker anyway.
Right.
But
well, you know what? Now that you mention it, I'm thinking about it a little bit. And during the summer, I will not have bourbon on the rocks. I will not have scotch just on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in wintertime, I will.
Any other thoughts on the shift? We're, like I said, we're right at this precipice. We're right at this moment, at the end of summer, the beginning of fall, the change of the seasons.
Well, one thing that comes up in wine class a lot is that people, we always have an opportunity for people to introduce themselves, what brought them here, what they want to get out of it.
Yeah.
Who they hope they're going to be in 2 hours that they aren't right now, and how we can get them there.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up all the time that people, they have their favorite wines, they have their old favorites. And when I think about fall and I think about the shift in our eating habits, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to put some of your standards, your old favorites, not to disrespect them in any way,
Right.
but it's an opportunity to put them on hold. Well, and it's amazing and sad in some ways to me that a lot of wine lovers, people who sincerely love wine, are so intimidated by the process of getting advice, of communicating their taste, that they can't walk into a wine shop, strike up a conversation with a salesperson who, they appear to be on the same wavelength with, and just say, hey, I'm a Cabernet person. What have you got that's new and different that a Cabernet... Hey, I'm a Pinot Noir person. What have you got that's new and different that a Pinot Noir person... I'm a Chianti person. What have you got that's new and different for the Chianti lover? It seems to... to me, it seems like a simple conversation. But people...
Unfortunately, a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. And I think that, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have access to a wine shop that have people working there that either know what they are talking about and are there because they love wine.
Right.
But a lot of times they're people that don't know what they're talking about, or people that are paid to promote wines.
Or just haven't, as much as I enjoy shopping in Trader Joe's,
right.
So frequently I'll be striking up a conversation with somebody and I'll say, what have you tasted, or what have you liked especially? And in a really good wine shop, in a really effective wine shop, everybody at least tastes everything.
Well, and a good wine shop will have a lot of tastings, once or twice a week at least.
Right. Yeah.
And everyone in the shop should at least be able to participate in those tastings.
Yeah.
So, if your taste, because it would be hard to just go through the shop and start tasting all the wines.
Yeah. It takes...
But this way, in the batches of 6 or 8 or 10, over 3 months or 6 months, if you do that every week, you're going to have tasted a lot of different wines.
Well, and between yourself and another colleague,
exactly,
after time, you've got pretty much everything. You've got pretty much everything covered.
Well, that's like my favorite wine shop right around the corner, Spirited Gourmet, and they do that all the time.
Well, and Spirited Gourmet is a great wine shop. They're not a huge wine shop,
not by any stretch of the imagination.
They don't have acre. They're not like a wine warehouse where they have acre upon acre of wine. Again, Jon, he's really great at talking about wine. He's even better listening.
Right. A great combination of knowledgeable and approachable. Yeah. And that is not an easy combination to have.
Well, it's just a place where you can just get great advice.
Right.
You're not going to go in and have a conversation and go home with something and say, what happened? What happened? I thought I explained what I did not like. Yeah, it's a great shop.
It is. It's a great shop. But this is just
SpiritedGourmet.com.
Can't help but plug my friends. The Boston Wine School.
Why not?
We've certainly talked about your tours and your classes. I know that Carol and I are certainly going to be signing up for your upcoming whiskey class.
Excellent.
Look forward to that one.
Excellent. That's going to be a blast.
Well, terrific. This has been terrific, and as I said,
anytime.
Informative. Really, it was fun. Well, next time you've got to do it here in the studio. I've got a table there and chairs.
Yes, that'll be fun. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it in the studio next time.
That sounds great. Well, the fall is my favorite part of the year, and talking with Jon about it and about how what he drinks and what he eats and how it changes along with the seasons, I thought was just fascinating. And I talked about our favorite wine shop, Spirited Gourmet, and I really hope that people can find something like that around where they live. Seek them out. It's a great way to have some fun and learn a lot about wine. So this is Jay Fettigan, and I'll see you next time on Foodie Time.